Dead bugs are a commonly prescribed exercise for your core. They can be really amazing for helping you find your abs, and particularly your lower abs, to help work on spinal and pelvis stability. Now, that being said, they can be really tricky. So I'm here today to help you with some different tips and tricks to help you get the most out of your dead bugs. So first thing we're going to talk about is thinking about how a dead bug is actually a psoas strengthening exercise. So we're working on this ability to maintain a stable spine and pelvis while you're flexing your femur. Now, if that psoas is already shortened, either because the upper insertion point is shortened by being pulled forward, okay, which is going to give this kind of look of this high hinge point or arch in your back up here, or the pelvis is already kind of tucked under, or the femur is shoved forward in the socket, that's going to create tension in the psoas. We need to work on kind of releasing that psoas first so that it is set up for success to actually flex the hip. Now, to do this, we're going to use a towel roll. And with this towel roll, we're going to place it underneath your back here, and you can kind of play around with the spot that feels the best for you. So as I'm here, I'm going to think about using the top part of the towel roll to kind of give me feedback of this lower ribs here on the back side of my body. I'm just elevating it enough to help me feel my ribs be connected here, but not so much that I'm shoving my ribs forward up towards the ceiling. Now the bottom part is going to be set up so that it is kind of gently pushing my sacrum forward a little bit, okay? So that's going to help me get out of being tucked here. Those very lower fibers of your psoas that connect onto your sacrum and lower lumbar spine of L5 actually create flexion there. So as we have this lower part on the bottom part of your back, that's going to help you tip forward. Now, as I'm here, I'm then going to use my serratus to help kind of close my ribs and expand in my back. So with that, I'm going to take a weight, something a little meaningful, but not too heavy, and you're going to reach up through your armpits and pinkies and feel your shoulder blades slide around your rib cage and kind of broaden in the backside here. I'm making sure that I'm not shrugging over top or reaching through those underneath parts, and not so much that my head and neck is feeling tensioned. This is going to help kind of close my ribs in the front. Now, I'm going to inhale into my back, into that towel, in between my shoulder blades, and then I'm going to exhale, thinking about my hip bones, abs, and ribs wrapping around towards each other and back into the towel. I'm making sure as I do that I don't necessarily tuck more, okay? So we're just trying to think about this wrap around and compression back, right? You're using the ground as that feedback of being able to find that brace while maintaining the length in your abs. You might add a block squeeze between those knees first to help get those adductors that can help pull those hip bones in the front in towards each other. So we're reaching here. This doesn't change. Inhale. Squeeze the block. Keep this reach as everything wraps back around and towards each other. Maybe keep a pinch of tension in those abs and lower ribs. Inhale again. Exhale. Maybe it pulls back another millimeter, okay? So after doing a couple reps of those, you then might find, okay, when I go to inhale and exhale and brace, it's easier for me to get more of that balanced brace. Now we can expand upon this to release the psoas a little bit more by adding a leg slide. So as I slide my leg down, this is going to create length in that psoas, making sure that my pelvis and rib cage doesn't move. So again, I can use the ground as feedback to help me make sure that I don't do this as that leg comes down, or I don't do this and drop in a hip as that leg comes down. And this would be easier if I had a slippery surface. So I'm here, I'm going to inhale into the back and sides. Exhale, think hip bones, abs, and ribs wrap around towards each other. As I then slowly slide that leg out as far as I can without letting anything else move. I can even inhale in this lengthened position. Exhale, maybe I can take a little more, and then I can slide it back. So sometimes you might need to get a couple reps where maybe each one you can slide it back a little bit further. And then after you've given your psoas some length and some improved stability up here, then you can go into inhale, exhale. Now I'm going to slowly pick this leg up, just visualizing that femur rotating in the socket, that leg bone rotating in the socket, not letting my pelvis move, and then come back. I can even come up here, hold here, inhale into my back and side and back of hips. Exhale. Can I feel this leg kind of just melt back into me a little bit more? And then taking it back down without letting everything go forward. But adding in that serratus reach can really help provide a little bit more stability to your core. Along those same lines, we can think about how we can use our lats. So for someone who's already kind of rounded forward here, our lats in a more lengthened position as far as on the back side of our body. They're nice and short up here, but we need lats on the backside to help pull those shoulder blades around and back with the middle and lower traps to open up that chest wall. The lats help provide stability to your pelvis so that your lower abs aren't having to work so hard just on their own and can kind of build up being left to just work without any other help. So what you're going to do here with that is you're going to have the band here, and you can do it in two different ways. You can either pull arms down and think about reaching towards your feet, but also making sure those shoulder blades slide back without those ribs flaring forward, okay? So I'm thinking about taking my armpits towards my hips, but then collarbone staying broad. I can inhale here, exhale. Okay, now how do I do with lifting up a leg? Adding in that intentional lat engagement, help give my pelvis a little bit more stability to help set my lower abs up for success. You're making sure as you pull down that you don't roll forward like this. We're keeping everything nice and open. If this is too hard being long, you can also go more like you're doing a pull-up type move. So here, you can pull down, and again, think armpits to sides and chest wall open. And again, inhale, exhale, ribs down, hips towards each other as you then go to do that move. Meeting your body where it's at. We don't want to force you back and then just crank in the arm bone, or force here and crank like this. So if you can only come down here without losing that good scapula position, or come here without losing that good scapular position here, then that's fine. Last tip I have is kind of simple. You can look at simply elevating your head. So as I'm here, if I am laying down and I'm in a lot of forward head posture, my ribs are flared, that's going to make it hard for me to connect to my core and open to my back. So sometimes simply putting a little something underneath your head, or you can even add a little more of a bolster so you're kind of positionally dropped down in those ribs and opened up in the back, can make it easier for more of your breath to go into your back, and then exhale and connect through the front side more. If all of your inhale goes out into your abs, now those abs are in a more lengthened position that they have to overcome. So sometimes just simply being here in this more positionally dropped rib position, inhaling into your back, between your shoulder blades, sides, and into your hips. And then exhale, thinking hip bones, abs, and ribs knit around towards each other. No neck tension as I'm doing that. And then see if that makes it easier for you to connect there. But hopefully one of those tips helps give you a little bit more oomph to your dead bug, helps you feel like you can make a little bit more progress. And then whatever helped, maybe adding in some more isolated work in that area, can help then improve the setup and position of your shoulder blades, your rib cage, and your abs, so that you can then just isolate your abs in and of itself in that dead bug without the extra assistance.